Hello and welcome to Day 2 highlights from Henley Royal Regatta 2023. From a jam-packed 82 race schedule, we're going to be bringing you the very best action from across Wednesday's racing. But first, let's find out a little bit more about the intricacies of this famous stretch of the River Thames from none other than 14-time Henley champion Sir Matthew Pinsent.
This is where the journey begins in boat tents. You've got loads of crews, oars and equipment that's all stored here in the racks, and this is where the journey begins for any training session, but most importantly, every race basically starts here. As you go down the side of the course, you get down through the navigation channel, and there's a warm-up area way down beyond the start line, and the start line is just at the downstream end of Temple Island. During the race, about the first 250, 300 metres of that off the start, you're right next to the very narrow channel caused by Temple Island and the towpath. In the opening half mile, the towpath on the right hand side is relatively quiet, and then you get to the Forley box at halfway, and then the noise begins to build and build. You're going to pass Remnham Club, that's a home for lots of rowing clubs and their supporters during the week, and then just a small patch of trees, which again is a sort of little green island in the course, and then the start of the enclosures all the way up that last probably 400 metres, 450 metres. The noise builds and builds and builds all the way to the finish line. It is a brutal and classic test of rowing. It's 2,112 metres long, and it's hard going all the way. It's going to be one boat versus one boat. It's straight knockout. Winner goes through to the next day. Loser, you're off home or you're off to the bar.
And the challenges of the course were evident early on Wednesday morning when two of the biggest international crews, Harvard University and Melbourne University, didn't even make it to the finish line.
Well, this is a big one, a really big race. The Visitors Challenge Cup, Harvard University of the USA against Melbourne University of Australia. And you've got the Americans coming a little bit away from their boom and towards the middle of the water. In fact, both boats are doing the same thing. You can see the Australians trying to hold their side, now coming across to central. They're up at Temple Island at the start, and the umpires getting involved. The Australians, Melbourne University, need to be really careful here. They've come right across the water, and they've got to get back onto the buck station. They've raided across to the wrong side. There goes the umpire, and it's a red flag. Melbourne University, Australia, red flags in the Visitors Challenge Cup. What a long way to come for that. Harvard University, well, they are through, and the red flag raised against Melbourne University. Imagine travelling halfway around the world, and on day 2 at Henley Royal Regatta, having that as an outcome.
A devastating result there for the Melbourne crew. On to the Wyfold though, and the action kept on coming with a clash between Molesey and Tyne.
Tyne just darting out into the middle. They need to keep a really close eye here. The white flag's gone up, and Tyne have got their steering all wrong early in the race. And there's another white flag, and they're getting more and more instruction from the umpire. Now they do correct, but that's definitely held up Molesey.
This is going to be hurting now as well. There's a bit of a headwind up, so that's just going to lengthen the time of the race, but this is real tight stuff, isn't it?
Well, one thing that could come into play is Molesey won by 3 lengths yesterday on the Berkshire station. That's where they are, and Tyne beat Lee by 1 length on the Berkshire station. So Tyne have got perhaps less in the tank than Molesey have from yesterday.
You never know. Sometimes it does flip the other way. You know, it gives people a bit of a taste for it. You know, taste
sharp.
Yeah, you could say that. But it's still very close between both these crews. Tyne looking like a little bit racier on the rating, aren't they?
We've only got 100 metres or so remaining, and it's very level. Molesey on the Berkshire station just fading. Tyne now bringing another burst towards the finish line, moving up to a length clear. But this has been a really good race, and Tyne will be hurting, really hurting, as they head towards the line. Molesey haven't given up yet. They've only got a few more strokes to try and shift it round. Such a tight race in the Wyfold Challenge Cup. Well done to Tyne on the buck station, who win by a length, is it? Perhaps less than a length. It was a great battle.
Day 2 saw the Island Challenge Cup get underway. This event for student women's coxed 8s, and there were some real eye-catching performances. Syracuse University took on Oxford Brookes University in the week's opening island race.
And over the line they come now. They've got a little bit more work to do in front of Stewards' enclosure, but a terrific eights race there, so evenly matched. A little bit of an incident with the Swan as well. I reckon that Syracuse University might look at that and say, well, that didn't help our cause. They were trying to launch something at that point, but they couldn't put anything together that was going to hold up Oxford Brookes University C's progression through in the Island Challenge Cup. Terrific race.
University of London faced off with Edinburgh University A.
And they're off.
So a long, gruelling race ahead of them in the island.
Oh, look at that. Nice
Great
and
race.
tight. This is exactly what you're looking for, that side-by-side to feel and hear the blades of the crew next to you.
In front of the Stewards' enclosure, and well done to University of London, who have actually kept pushing Edinburgh University A along, but they've got enough, all that experience of previous Henleys coming to fruition, and they can move on. So the Island Challenge Cup, Edinburgh University look good there.
There was an all-American mid-morning contest between Georgetown University and Radcliffe Crew A.
Henley sort of becomes like almost a world championship.
Oh, it's like an all-star matchup, isn't it?
Yeah, clubs, students, juniors. It's pretty much everything outside of elite, although of course we have the elite crews as well, and we've seen a number of international crews race here over the years, and this year is no exception. But the best of the best come from around the world to really see how they stack up globally in these events. And of course here we're looking at the student women's 8, which is going to a commanding victory for Radcliffe over Georgetown University from the USA.
It was good. I feel like we were planning to be relatively close, like going into the barrier especially. I feel like that's a good checkpoint for us. It was really nice to be like up ahead, and like we know Georgetown, we race them at women, so it was like fun to see our margin again. Coming into the closing of the race, it was honestly just about like getting open water as much distance as we could, and also staying ahead, keeping the energy up, and like finishing strong. I was able to spectate last year, and so that was super fun just to see, but it's even cooler to race and just like be in this side-by-side racing, spectators so close. So, and the people have been awesome. It's so cool to see some like American crews here, some international crews, get to know the scene, get to know the vibe of Henley. So it's been amazing.
And in the last island race of the morning, Newcastle University A squared up in a transatlantic battle with Princeton University.
Wonderful to hear the two Coxes urging their crews off at the start. There's that big cacophony of sound as they sprint off the start. That noise from the puddles and the engines and all the crowd beside it. Great start as the crews battling it out and down the island, 15-20 strokes in, neck and neck. Newcastle passing one of the two grandstands here. At the finish you can hear the cheers building. They've got maybe 15 strokes or so to go.
Yeah, Newcastle just seem to have grown in confidence all the way down the course. They've just gotten stronger and stronger. Really impressive display from this crew from the UK.
Looks really composed, isn't it? Long, composed. Really nice rowing.
Princeton desperately sprinting. They're trying to close that gap, and they are making an impact, but they're going to run out of water here as crossing the line in the Island Challenge Cup. It is Newcastle University A over Princeton University from the United States of America.
The US crew are really, really strong in this event. We kind of just went in, doing what we knew best, attacking our race plan and trusted in our cocks, and we got the result we wanted, so happy.
Yeah, it felt really good. We didn't kind of have to give it too much at the end. Just really happy to come away with the victory, really. Definitely had a good row, so really happy.
The winner of the Diamond Challenge Sculls gets awarded a coveted silver pineapple cup to keep. Two men looking to add a pineapple to their trophy cabinets were GB rowers Cameron Buchan and Matt Brigham.
I've been looking forward to this one all morning. The Diamond Challenge Sculls. And there's the Kingslayer, as we like to call him.
Oh yes, the Goliath Slayer or the Kingslayer. Yes, Mr. Brigham.
Yes.
No Mulhay Drysdale today though, but.
So Matt Brigham is the sculler on the Buck station to the right, and then you've got Cameron Buchanan on the Berkshire station to the left-hand side. and this will be fascinating. They're similar generation rowers, they're similar standard, they've got quite similar CVs in many ways as well, so this is going to be really interesting. Look at this on the side, you can't get closer than that as they come in front of stewards. We've only got 100 metres of the race left. It's Brigham against Buchanan in the Diamond Challenge Sculls on the Wednesday of Henley Royal Regatta, and Cameron Buchanan, the Scot, has dug really deep here. Can Matt Brigham hold it off? He's led most of the way. Is he going to lead at the finish line? Over they go, and the Scot takes it. Cameron Buchanan is the winner, and Matt Brigham, well, he has had to bow out at this early stage. We've talked about his glorious moments in the past here at Henley, but Brigham won't be having any repeats of that this year. Cameron Buchanan timed it to perfection. They absolutely nailed the execution of that race, and he gets over the line just in front.
Last 500 or so towards the end, I could just see at the corner of my eye, took a couple of looks, that he was getting closer. And then I heard there was a big weight come in, heard him take a duck stroke. And I knew it was going to come my way, so if I dealt with it better, I was going to be an advantage. And just gradually saw him coming. And then the last 10 or so, you see a big tree on your right. And I had to go for a little bit more, half length or so. Arms started to go, started using the biceps, and I heard the buzzer just, it sounded like it was in my favour, but we both didn't know until the announcement.
The stewards' enclosure at Henley Royal Regatta is a sea of colour, mostly on the men's blazers, but this is the enclosure with the best view of the course. Wednesday's first race after lunch had everyone on the edge of their deck chairs with another hard-fought contest out on the Thames.
This is the Temple Challenge Cup. We're looking here at Cambridge University here on the near side, and over on the far side, Princeton University A. We've got two lightweight crews, probably, as we were saying earlier, the two best lightweight crews from their respective programmes and countries here going head-to-head.
Yeah, this is a transatlantic battle if ever I saw one, and as you rightly point out, Camilla, it is the lightweights in action, and I think what we're really looking out for here is battle of the technique. These guys are weight capped, they're all going to be roughly the same weight, so their power output should be the same. It's all about how they technically handle this course, which is famous, of course, for being a complex, tricky, sometimes unforgiving piece of water. So we'll see whether Cambridge, with their sort of slight home advantage, could triumph over the Tigers from Princeton.
Princeton have brought a huge number of athletes here to race on the Thames. 42 athletes in Princeton colours this week representing the Tigers. A huge contingent. Overall, 64 Princeton athletes have raced across Henley Women's Regatta, Henley Royal Regatta, and it looks like, as you hear the cheers from the crowds, they're going to see another day here in this Temple Challenge Cup event.
Yeah, that's a well-executed row from Princeton. They just attritionally moved out on Cambridge, didn't do anything dramatic, just rode their race, and it looks like they're going to triumph by about a length here.
So the national champions from Princeton are going to win out from the boat race winners from Cambridge University. There it is, Princeton University A beating out Cambridge University in that heat of the Temple Challenge Cup.
Well, there is some incredible silverware on offer here. It's all on display, and I do not envy the person responsible for keeping this lot shiny. Amongst them is the Prince Albert Challenge Cup, and that kicked off today, and there was a classic between Edinburgh University and Triton from the Netherlands.
This is Edinburgh University on the left-hand side of your screen, and on the near side, the Triton crew from the Netherlands have travelled from the Netherlands to match up against the best of what Scotland have to offer here. This is Edinburgh's top crew here in this Prince Albert Challenge Cup event, and they're currently trailing to the contenders from the Netherlands. You can see the animation here from Cox Nickleby Simmons as they go to push back, and it's go, 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 and it's all Edinburgh's job to do here into the final 40 or so strokes.
He knows, Nickleby Simmons, he knows that this race is there for the taking. I think Triton look a little bit more ragged, and it's Edinburgh coming up towards the line. They've closed that gap. The bows barely separated here. Can Edinburgh find one last gear?
Yeah, last gear is absolutely needed here, but Triton, we're holding the keys because they can look back, they can see, they can respond. Edinburgh just have to trust in their cocks that they are getting closer, that they are closing down into these final few strokes. But I think Triton have just done enough. It'll be by their fingernails that they get through here. Half a length at the end there in this Prince Albert Challenge Cup round. And Edinburgh University's top crew now knocked out of the regatta.
More international action now in the men's fours as Neusser Rudeverein took on Nottingham Rowing Club.
This is Wyfold, the Wyfold Challenge Cup between the Neusser Rudeverein Germany on the left-hand side of your picture and Nottingham Rowing Club on the near side here on the Buck Station. Wyfold Challenge Cup, so we've seen plenty of sort of steering woes here in the first 200 metres this morning through lunchtime, and both of these crews navigating that extremely well, especially Nottingham University, Fergus.
Yeah, there's some of the lines we've seen today have been pretty hairy, but Nottingham University just starting to drift over a little bit into the centre. They've got to be careful there. They're wanting to move back over to their side of the river because we can see the umpire's flag is already out, and that's certainly not something you want to be getting on the wrong side of.
Yeah, umpire John Hedger there, moving the crew from Nottingham Rowing Club back to the Buck Station. Warning for steering again, this time for Nottingham Rowing Club. I think I keep saying Nottingham University. I've got that in my head from somewhere, but it is Nottingham Rowing Club, the town club that is competing here in this Wyfold Challenge Cup. And Nottingham Rowing Club will have to respond here. The crew being steered by Daniel Town in the 3-seat, the silver medalist from Ghent Regatta last year, the international regatta in Ghent. They keep drifting back into the centre, and John Hedger is going to warn them once again. They're really getting close here to a clash, which is the one thing, that foul, that clashing of blades, that you really don't want into the stage. And here go the Neusser Rudeverein as Nottingham start to move back.
This is looking very close as we come into the final stages of this. An unbelievable sprint has been launched by the Germans, and that steering, Camilla, what an impact that's had on this race from Nottingham.
Well, that could have been their downfall here. Nottingham Rowing Club having to respond to those steering warnings from the umpire, John Hedger, and just in moving back to their station, they open the door just a crack for Neusser Rudeverein Germany to row through in the final 200 metres to victory in the Wyfold Challenge Cup second round. Taps on the boat from them. A big, big win here for this crew.
There were 3 races during the afternoon session that proved just how brutal single sculling can be on the Henley course. There was a gruelling contest between Marcus Shute and Canadian Liam Smith.
The 22-year-old Liam Schmidt, he has managed to pull away, and Marcus Shute leaving it too late to make any sort of charge back. I think at this moment in time that would really be the commentator's curse, but I think only 10 strokes to go here. Paul Schmidt of Canada, of the University of British Columbia, another rising talent. He will move through representing hopefully the Canadian team in years to come, and I'm sure we'll see more of him. Marcus Shute, well, we'll probably see him racing later on in the summer as the under-23 single sculler for the GB team.
It's a long way home for Bermudan Dara Elizadeh, who was beaten by Will Young.
He won at Marlow, and at the moment he is on track to win his first round of the Diamond Sculls at Henley 2023.
It's got to be a good feeling for him to get through the first round of the Diamond Challenge Cup. Historic event here at Henley Royal Regatta. So many legendary names on that trophy since 1844. Here comes Dara Elizadeh, the Bermudan sculler from Tokyo representing London. Well, that's the last we'll see of him, unfortunately, this regatta.
And an international clash capped off the afternoon's singles racing with Lars Kreuter against Hamish Harding.
Well, out of the window of our commentary box, which is just after the finish line, we can see Hamish Harding from Australia, the lightweight, in the finals few strokes. He's commanded the race really pretty solidly all the way through, and so we don't really know whether this is his full speed. I suspect he's just been sitting on quite a comfortable position there and saving his form and saving his legs for the days to come. So Hamish Harding from Australia crosses the line ahead of Lars Kreuter from Nearas.
I was fairly happy with it. Just good to get one in the bank, open up the lungs a bit. But no, I was happy with how I managed the conditions, especially for a smaller person. It's always a little tougher in a headwind. Yeah, no, I was pleased with it.
Day 2 kept on delivering. Here are some of the best races from later in the day.
Attention!
Good cruise, good start straight into it.
Yeah, really nice clean start. It's a moment of real tension, isn't it? It still doesn't leave me. Years after competing here, that tension doesn't leave you. Just want to get the first few strokes underway cleanly, and then you're into the process. You've trained so many times with the start, haven't you?
Once you're up and running, it's fine. It's just making sure you all move exactly the same on the first stroke. And here, straight away, Mortley, Anglia and Alpha here, really quite cohesive unit, being really aggressive here out of the blocks, as you expect. You see the boys there behind them, not quite onto the booms yet. It does feel like Cantabs need to make some sort of really consolidated effort now to make a really big impact. The course is running out and Mortlake are doing a good job. It's down to just 2/3 of a length on the progress board.
I can see out of the window, Adrian, that number 2 marker is showing an overlap. It's about a 2/3 of a length advantage that Mortlake, Anglia and Alpha have got. So a final attack. They've got the last 200 metres of this race. The stewards' enclosure is packed with rowing fans, and you can hear their appreciation and excitement rising, calling for both of these crews in the final phase.
Yeah, and look, that Mortlake seem to have this under control, but let's see if Cantabs can really drag something out. And fair credit to both these crews, have raced us all the way to the line. 2 scratch crews doggedly fighting to the end.
It's a real story of determination in both crews through this. There's overlap here still for Cantabs, but it's not going to be enough overlap. We've got the last 10 or 12 strokes to go now until the finish line.
Yeah, looks like Morley, Anglia and Alpha have got this, although they are struggling now and Cantabs really are still coming back, but it's just too little too late, I fear.
Mortlake, Anglian and Alpha cross the line first. It's almost just over half a length. What a recovery from Cantabs. They really came back really quite strongly in that final third of the race, and you can see they pushed Mortlake and Anglian and Alpha really, really hard.
Oh, that was fantastic. That's the kind of race you want when you're watching the regatta.
Durham University A and Cornell University US. This is turning into an epic race. Joseph Zirkman in the Cox's seat, 21 years old, of Cornell, looks over his shoulder. It looks like they may have come back at Durham. That push has worked. There's a bit more power coming through in the Cornell crew now. Absolutely neck and neck. They're coming up to the progress board. Cornell string across to the middle of the river. About 10 to 15 strokes to go. Anybody's game. Who's going to take it? Pretty messy, pretty scrappy in the middle.
Yeah, I like what Durham is doing here. They're pushing really hard. They're coming through, but Cornell has been able to respond, and this is going to be it. This is going to be a tight
to the line. Where's the photo finish camera? Well, for me, could it be Cornell by an edge by 10 centimetres? Yeah, as we thought, actually, Cornell seemed to have the edge. Confirmation of a victory for Cornell in the tightest of races we've seen this afternoon. Controversy right to the end as well.
The action keeps going in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup for junior boys 8s. And we have Deerfield Academy from the USA and the local boys from Shiplake College. They are just leading the might of Shiplake. That Shiplake crew on the far side in the yellow boat, they won the school's head, which was back, I think, in March by a commanding margin. They couldn't show what they could do at the national schools. There's problems with Lane at the Dorney, the Olympic course. As the crews come towards us, there's just 200 metres to go. It is Shiplake College, it is Finley Worthington, Freddie Middleton, Harrison Harper, Callum Wells, Fred Fox, Cedric Critchley, Edward Floyd, Stroke Luca Beaker, Cox, Charlie Keener coming up to the finish line. They have nearly clear water, and Shiplake College accelerate past the progress board. They will go on tomorrow, if they do win this race, to face the might of Marin from the USA, but Shiplake take the win in a really closely contested race. Well done, Deerfield Academy, for serving up a great contest for us there at Kiel.
So that's it, 2 days down, but there are 4 more fantastic days of rowing left at this year's Henley Royal Regatta. There's so much more racing to come. It is a knockout, so there are no second chances. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.